everyone, and welcome to Take a Pause with Mare, where we will talk about the pause in all of her glory and not so glory. So let's grab some coffee and get ready for a conversation that is honest, real, and maybe, probably, a little bit funny. Yes, we have our cups, Menopause, because sip happens. Yes,
Sip
it does.
happens.
Yes, it does. And today I have the pleasure of having Raquel with us again, who is our partner with Menopalz, and we have Angela, who is our HR voice with Menopalz.
Hi.
Hello.
It's so great to be here with you ladies this morning.
Great to have you all. So we thought we would take a spin on the holidays that are coming and have the 12 days of menopause, but in the workplace, which, hey, we can't leave her at home. Believe me, I would. I would leave her anywhere. But we have to bring her
I would drive her out to the middle of nowhere till my car ran out of gas and leave her there and walk home.
and run like your hair was on fire away from her. That's exactly how we would treat her. But we can't. So we have to bring her everywhere. So Angela is going to help us help everybody be able to support each other when we are in the work, with our managers and other peers and whatnot. So it'll be a fun spin, guys.
I'm excited.
Me too. Me too.
So do you want to, Angela, do you want to give us a little bit about your background or what the HR part of it is?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll start with maybe a little bit about my menopause journey,
Perfect. We
which,
love the journeys.
yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
journey. It's a journey. Well, mine is maybe a little different than some journeys, but my story actually began when I woke up after a radical hysterectomy in full surgical menopause. I might have been having a few symptoms before that. It was when I was 48. Maybe I wasn't sure. Maybe I was having a little sleep disruption, but I had no idea what a hot flash was at that point. I had that radical hysterectomy after stage 1 endometrial cancer diagnosis, and that was my treatment. A few months later, so go a few months later, and I was still navigating what would be very significant, kind of comes at you all at once, not gradually, right? Brain fog and the
All at
night
once.
sweats
Yeah.
and decision fatigue. And right around that time, I was also going through a job transition. So at that point, with more than 20 years of experience in HR and talent development, and I was serving in an executive level role at that time, I decided to change careers, change jobs, and again, in the middle of managing surgical menopause, I made that decision to open up my own coaching and consulting practice, which is what I do today.
Good for you,
Yes.
Angela.
No.
That's a tough journey. I understand that because I've walked in your shoes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So during that coaching and consulting, something really came into focus for me. And maybe I was paying attention to what was happening in workplaces. The UK was way ahead of us in terms of, how are we supporting women in menopause in the workplace. But I also started to realize something without knowing what may have been happening. So mid to late career women were coming to me after job loss or performance concerns or their own decision to transition their careers, because I do some career coaching, and incredibly capable women, okay?
Yeah.
And they were quietly wondering for the first time, and I was too, but we weren't really talking about it because I'm not a menopause coach, right? But I'm a workplace corporate coach. And we were thinking things like, could menopause be part of what's happening at work for these women? So I saw in their stories what I experienced myself, and then that's what fuels me now, because helping, workplaces understand menopause, helping women feel supported. This is not just a women's issue. This is a workplace issue,
Mhm.
and really making sure that this phase of life isn't something that people have to navigate in silence. So, again, back then I was watching what the UK was doing, and I was navigating this myself,
Right.
years in the making, right? So I'm 7 years post surgical, post surgery, post cancer, and I'm really thrilled that in the United States we have some movement in the right direction to provide workplace support and legislation around this topic. So we're way behind, though. I think the UK is farther ahead of us. We're catching up, but it's a good feeling to know that we've got some momentum. So I'm happy to be part of the conversation today.
Oh my gosh, that is quite a journey, and I'm so glad that everything is going well for you. 7 years.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a powerful,
Yeah.
powerful story. It really is.
Yeah.
It really talks to, I think, a lot of the professionals out there that, sometimes as a professional, we just are like, oh no, we can do it because kind of been predisposed to always take that on
Yeah.
and handle all the brunt of it. And
Right.
then to hear you say, like, I was navigating this with brain fog and decision making limitations, and that, I mean, it's true because we are so sick kind of going through this. I mean, it is a really
Oh,
dark navigation.
it is. And I'll just share one more thing. When I was on leave, um, one of the things that my surgeon, who was navigating your leave paperwork and all of that, I had gone in for a checkup, and I think it might have been at 3 weeks. I don't remember what the schedule was, but it was early, and my husband happened to be with me at the appointment. And I mean, this was a lot to be thinking about going back and making really complicated HR legal type decisions. And the surgeon said to me, well, they like you to go back at 4 weeks. And
Oh,
I said, oh, well, who are they? And I would like to talk to them because I am not ready. I was not ready. I was just trying to get my strength back. And my husband and I would walk. We live in the middle of town. And I'd say, okay, just get me 2 more blocks. We can go 2 more blocks today, right? We can go 2 more blocks today. Then we'd sit on the porch and we'd talk about how strength was coming back every day. And at 4 weeks, I'm going to go back into the workplace and start navigating all of those challenges. I'm like, well, who are they? I want to talk to them because I'm not ready. So I think maybe I got to 5 weeks. I don't think I quite had 6 weeks off, but you can see what that transition might have felt like and looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're so you nailed it. You're so
Hmm.
weak. I mean, you're
Hmm.
trying to regain your strength, and I mean, you're sitting outside on the porch because you're probably looking for sunlight to feel. I
Yes.
always reference like a
Yes.
flower or something,
Right.
just sitting outside, like, please heal me.
Right.
I get it, and
Hmm.
I have to tell you, I'm very glad you're here today.
yes,
Aw. Well, thank you.
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. So fortunate to know you, and I personally have worked with you, and yeah, it's actually demoralizing though, right? Because you feel
It is.
like, women, when you get to the, like, you've stayed in the same company for a number of years, you give it your all, right? And I know that
Taking
you
ownership of
work
it.
with you too, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you feel like, hey, I don't call out. I just take my vacations. It's not like I take extended time. Like,
Hmm.
they're going to support me and
Right.
give me
Yes.
the respect that
Right.
I've given them all these years.
Right.
And when you get that they
Right.
want you back in 4 weeks, you're like, it's a slap in the face. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And
what just
Yeah.
happened?
And in this case, they were the insurance providers,
Yes,
right? They were okay, not the workplace
right,
itself,
right.
but the workplace drives your health care and your
Yeah.
coverage. But they were the insurance people who
Yeah,
wanted, and the FMLA and all of that good
yep,
stuff. So yeah,
yep.
yeah. So I'm happy
I
to be
think
here. Thank you.
we need to know who changes those laws or who would change those
Hmm.
laws because that is something
Hmm.
people really need to think about. I mean,
Hmm.
you can't put an algorithm or some kind of number on when people will come back. I mean, every body and literally every body is different,
That's right.
That's not fair.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. See, this is why this series that we have is very important, because navigating, workplace and just wellness, let alone dealing with illness, is one thing, but just the wellness part of it is very, I think, something that is looked over. Like, they think, oh, you're coming to work, you must feel fine.
Yeah.
No,
Hmm.
No, I'm coming to work because I need a paycheck.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And so working on the wellness and helping, I think, women feel supported, and that makes everything. And knowing that you can then go and talk with a manager or HR who has been trained and understands, and they'd be like, hey, I understand. We're gonna work through this together.
And I think it's important for the employer too, because there are things that they people wouldn't understand because this conversation has been so taboo for so long. So there's not a lot that they know about menopause. In fairness, I mean, we have to kind of give a little bit back to that because the
Yeah.
conversation's been swept under the rug for so long. I mean, to Angela's point, I too thought menopause was just a few hot flashes and off it went. I had no idea the roller coaster I was ready to
Right.
get on. I did not want to board this ride.
Right. And really, the protections that I had under the leave itself and having that time off had more to do with the surgery than it had to do with menopause. It had nothing to do with that, right? Because that's not a qualifying event,
Event.
or an accommodation request can't be made because I was having menopause symptoms, right?
Right.
It was more about the time, and that's a whole other issue around workplace protections and sensitivities to time off and accommodations that we'll probably get to. But yeah, make sure you join us for that workplace learning series. Go to menopalz.com and find that, because we're going to really dig into in a 4-part series. So over lunch and learn, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do that in December, then January, and then April and May. And you'll get, if you're an HR provider, HR professional, you'll get 4 credits for attending. And we're going to dig in deep into those manager conversations. What are the laws and protections that women have or don't have, and what some states are doing, and how to really create policies for inclusion, and bring this out of silence and into the forefront where it belongs.
And what
Absolutely.
better person to do it than you, Angela?
Yes,
Honestly, like you
absolutely.
walked in the trenches, you know what changes need to come down the pipe.
Yeah.
So I think this is amazing. I'm really
Well,
looking forward to our conversation today.
Yep.
all right.
Yes, so
Here
much.
we go. Here we go.
I love Christmas. So this is going to be great. Also, yes, I cannot sing, but I still do. I give it a whirl. I mean, I'm like, hey, why not? Like just turn down the radio volume or do
Well, I
whatever.
wore my red today, Mayor. I wore my red today.
I
So
like it. We all should have came themed. I didn't even think it through.
that's about as far as I could go today. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well,
It's a
then
Friday.
yes, yes, we all have that like ugly Christmas sweater, but it's not really comfortable. It's a little
Oh, they
scratchy.
itch.
yeah, they do.
They do.
They do.
They're a little
They,
hot sometimes.
they're funny, but they're not comfortable. Yeah,
Correct.
they're sort of like a bra. Need
Yeah.
it, but really not comfortable. So,
So true.
so true. Yeah. So here we will do, like we said before, the 12 days of menopause, the workplace edition. So, everybody knows the 12 days. I think, the 5 golden rings, it will always turn out to be a fan that always spins for me. That's great.
And Lord, don't we know? I
Yeah.
was at a women's conference earlier this week, and I kid you not, I looked over and a woman had like one of those fans that you can just open, and it's like, like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you're in menopause.
Yeah.
I was like looking around the room. Oh, I think you're in menopause. You're close.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's always the fan. So a fan that spins just for me would be perfect. So we'll do 2 at a time, so that way we can get enough time in and get the
Sure.
content. So on the first and second day of Christmas, my menopause gave to me tangible support and supportive managers.
Yeah. On my workplace gave to me, Mayor. My workplace gave to me, right? Because we we want to give some strategies for business owners and HR professionals that are low or no cost to help. So yeah, let's talk fans. On the first day, my workplace gave to me a fan that spins just for me, right? And 2 supportive managers. Wouldn't that be awesome? So yeah, so something to think about here is that hot flashes and temperature swings are one of the most common and disruptive symptoms, right?
Hmm.
And a
Yeah.
simple fan, or the ability to cool down, can make a huge difference in someone's comfort and ability to focus. And really
Huge.
think about the times that you've been in a meeting, or I have, where we're trying to find something to fan us, right? And I have, I don't want to say younger people, but of course they are younger most of the time and they're like freezing cold and you're like having a hot flash. And, think about that feeling of, not just being able to cool down, but being able to speak up about your needs, and just
Which
tell
is
them to
also
wear
super
layers. They can put
important.
on layers, right? I can't take off mine.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
very awkward
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
time.
And just to have a workplace with a supportive manager is
Mhm.
so important, right? To have them who just lean into that. And I think women managers who have experienced perimenopause or menopause symptoms are maybe the most empathetic. But sometimes they're not either, right? They're like, well, just push through it, or whatever it
I
is.
did, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Women
yeah.
just say, I
So,
did.
and
We've all
and
kind of had that mindset where we're like, well, we did it, why can't you? But so I get that.
yeah. Right. So just the ability to speak up, I think, is important. And then have some way to cool down or have a fan. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could just, grab the fan from the closet or have it right at your workstation? So I think those are really important gifts that your workplace could give to you for Christmas.
And on the third and fourth day of Christmas, my workplace gave me mindful moments and open conversations.
Yeah, wouldn't that be beautiful? So,
Oh, it would.
so three mindful moments and four open conversations. So, during the day, help with brain fog and anxiety and the impact of poor sleep, even short pauses can reset the nervous system. I remember right before I left my executive role at the hospital, we were working on a new hospital design. And one of the ideas we had, I'm not sure if it came into fruition or not, was to have kind of quiet break spaces for people just to go to and have those mindful moments, just to step away for a few moments. And, having open conversations is important because stigma around this is still huge.
It
you
is.
know, my own husband, who is very supportive of the work that I do, right? And is interested in sort of where this path is taking me as the HR voice for Menopause. He'll even say, well, I don't know about that. Should we have an open conversation about brain fog and difficulty making decisions, right? There's so much stigma around it. Is that a sign of weakness?
Right.
So most women don't even mention menopause at work
Yep.
because they fear that they're being judged as old
Yeah.
Yep.
or less capable, right? Let's be honest about it, right? So
I
talking
mean,
openly would be
yeah.
a gift, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
would
we've
be.
only been able to have like our own checking account for 50 years. I mean, it's just
Right.
like we're
Right.
afraid of losing our power or our
Right.
voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think too, what we said for days 1 and 2, when you're in that meeting and the younger women are not really going to be your peer there either, because I'm
No.
always like, if I ask if it's hot in here, you should just say yes. Please don't say no. And they're like, oh, okay, Mayor. And I was like, is it hot in here? They're like, yes, yes, it is. As they like
Mhm.
have two
Right.
Yes.
jackets on or whatever. And I'm like, thank you, girls.
Their lips are purple.
Yeah, I feel so included. Thank you. So, yes. So, open conversation too with other ones, because we're all going to get here, girls. The younger
Right.
ones, you'll be here. So,
And we're here
Hmm.
paving the path for you. So it
yeah.
hopefully will be easier for you.
Right.
If we say, is it hot in here? You're like, yes, it is melting. Yes. Yes. So, here we go, on days 5 and 6, my workplace gave to me hydration and coaching.
Oh, so 5 water breaks and 6 coaching sessions. Well, this is where Menopause really comes in. Water breaks, simple, right? We can figure that out. We want to be able to provide space and time. And gosh, Mayor, I remember back in the day when we were working with nurses at their nurses stations, they couldn't bring water to their
Yeah.
nurses station. Remember that?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Is that still
wow.
true?
It's in some, yeah. Now the how the units are set up is that you have like a little station outside of the
Yeah.
patient room, and you're not allowed to keep anything there because the families can see it. So my daughter actually, who used to be a nurse in a unit,
Hmm.
they are always going to their locker, like, oh, I'll be right back. And that's
Yeah.
where they're eating their lunch, they're jamming down food real quick, and they're getting their water because nothing can be at that station.
Right. And in menopause, hydration sounds simple for all of us, right? But it really does help with the overwhelming, overheating and headaches and fatigue. And especially when sleep is rough, that hydration is so important. So finding a way to make that easier for women, I think, is something a workplace can do very easily. And then providing coaching support. This is where Menopalz comes in, right? So, wouldn't it be a beautiful gift if you were given, in our case here, 6 coaching sessions, right? If your workplace did that for you, how awesome would it be to have somebody to talk to coach you through, to know what to ask for, know what to advocate for, and also just feel like you're not alone. So yeah, what do you want to talk to about the coaching sessions that Menopause provides?
I would like to say that it's not just coaching. I mean, we're here when you don't have somebody to talk to. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was one of the biggest struggles that I personally experienced is I had one person that
Right.
understood. One person. I mean, I was able to like talk with my friends and as I continued talking, they started to like understand, but one person that got it. I mean, and my husband understands because he lives with me, but he still doesn't get it per se.
True.
So I
Right.
think that it's just such a like an alone space for us as women because we're navigating this. We don't want to feel like we're letting people down. We don't want to feel like we're weak. And so for me, the coaching sessions are yes, like let's get you on track, let's hold you accountable,
Right.
but also let's talk. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
how are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's really be human with each other.
Right. And we provide a path for HR professionals, those that are thinking about their benefits packages. How can we give that gift of connection to a group like Menopause, where you can have these coaching sessions or these conversations as part of what we're giving back to you as support for the phase of life that you're in? So
Right.
I think that would be an amazing gift that your workplace could
Yeah.
give to
And
you.
the
Yes.
education piece too. We give you information so that you can
Yes.
walk in and have a very educated conversation with your provider. And, we know that providers' time is short. We try to get all of it packed in so that when you do have that one appointment that you waited 3 months for,
Right.
you can get in and ask questions and feel like you walk out with answers. And
Right.
that's our goal is to
Yep.
empower you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, on the seventh and eighth day of Christmas, my workplace gave to me peer support and stretching movement.
Oh, so 7 peer check-ins, right? 8 stretch reminders. So peer check-ins, we're building on that from the last day right there because just having the ability to help people remember that they're not alone and definitely not the only one sweating through a meeting is important. So um, connection reduces shame. So having an employee resource group or some other way to encourage those peer support. Like Mayor says, look, if I say it's hot, right? Like back me up
Yes.
here, right? Back
Good
me up, right?
support.
And then just reminders that movement and stretch are helpful as well. So I'm thinking of things like when I had meetings, if we could have those regular check in meetings, let's make them walking meetings, unless it's something super complicated that we need to have slides up for. Stretch reminders, because stretch and movement reduces joint pain, right? It supports that. It helps with stiffness and it helps that just general heaviness that shows up during menopause. So, movement helps restore focus and reduces discomfort. So, any way that the workplace can give you that gift of peer support and just those stretch reminders and movement reminders would be really helpful.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here on the ninth and 10th day of Christmas, my workplace gave to me 9 learning lessons and 10 flexible options.
Oh, wow. We're going to actually learn and raise awareness about what we're walking through in life. Wouldn't that be amazing gift, right? A gift for our employees that are walking through this, but then also a gift to our managers to help support this. I think those learning sessions and then flexible options. I know that some people listening out there are already twitching because we're bringing up the word flexible, but gosh, it really does make a big difference between keeping a great employee and losing one.
Yes.
Just a little bend.
So,
What does that a little
yeah,
bend?
yeah, just a slight shift, right? We're not talking about radical changes. So, a modified schedule, a hybrid option, flexible meeting time can help someone manage sleep disruption and still perform at a high level, right? So, we're not asking for all the big, crazy changes that are going to cost a lot of money, just a slight shift, just a little one.
We're old
Yeah.
enough. We don't want to be laying on the beach all day long. We just want a little give.
Right, 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 right.
Oh, shoot. And on the 11th and 12th day of Christmas, my workplace gave to me manager training and 12 months of kindness, which I adore.
Manager training and 12 months of kindness. Isn't that what this is all about, right? So when managers get training, which is what we can help you do at Menopause, we can help provide that manager training. When that happens, I think everything changes.
Yeah.
So they know what to say, not just what to say, but it's how they say it, how they support someone without making it feel awkward.
Yeah.
They move from confusion to confidence and also kindness.
Mhm.
Just giving space for kindness is really about culture. And menopause can last for years, right? So employees need ongoing empathy, not just a one-time gesture.
Right.
So if we can create and inspire that for our workplace leaders, I think we've done a great job.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. Ongoing support is so, like, I think we missed the mark. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's also like how our society is. It's like you get the pat on the back and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you, and the
Right.
person feels good for 5 minutes, but then that just goes away. And
Yeah.
we need the ongoing, just a level of understanding, just a level of kindness.
Right.
Yeah.
And I,
It's about dignity, right? And
yeah,
humanity at work.
Yes.
yes.
It's not about special treatment. It's just
No.
about kindness, dignity, humanity, right?
You
Yeah.
nailed it. Dignity and
And I,
humanity.
yes, and I think there's enough people that in your workforce
Hmm.
that like can be able to be like, hey, are you having a rough time? Okay, go take five. Go downstairs to the cafeteria and stand in front of the cooler. Do
Right.
whatever you need to do, but
Right.
come back. I got you. And I think hopefully the 12 days of Christmas menopause workplace turns into a 12-month way of thinking. So that
Right.
way, every month is filled with, sincere empathy and just kindness as
Yeah.
it goes on. It just takes one time to keep doing it, and you just keep doing it.
Right. And I think, one of the things I wanted to say here is like, if I'm being honest, if I go back and rewind to when I spent time either as a leader, a manager in a workplace, having a team of people reporting to me, or then overseeing the HR functions, to be honest and realistic, I don't know what I would have said to somebody who asked me for that back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think an uninformed manager might say something like, well, are you sure this isn't just stress? I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, but guess what? We're all under pressure. We all have more patients to take care of, or whatever it is, right? We all have these pressures, and we really need you to push through. We can't adjust your schedule. That wouldn't be fair to the rest of the team. I mean, I really think what we also look through is a lens like, look, is this something that you need to take FMLA for? Well, guess what? It's not going to be a protected medical condition. It's not considered a serious medical condition unless it goes into things like anxiety and depression. So, I think we can close that manager gap. We want to give you those tools. So please sign up for our workplace learning series. Go to menopalz.com and sign up because we want to teach you, the HR professionals, the business owners, and just any woman that's working or wants to support a woman in the workplace.
Yeah.
We want to give you those tools and help you do that because I think an informed manager with training and policy to back them up would say something like, thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate your openness. Menopause symptoms can affect sleep, focus, temperature. You're not alone. Temperature control, you're not alone. And, let's look at some small adjustments. We do have some support options. Wouldn't it be beautiful for someone to say that to you instead of, or are you asking for an accommodation? Or I think we're all just facing the same problem. We got to push through. And
Yeah.
it's about awareness and training. And that's what we want to offer through our series, our learning series. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that is perfectly said because I do think that, you do look at things differently as you are experiencing them. And I think to have a manager that would say that would be, for me, it would just make you feel validated in what you are feeling
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that you're not really going crazy. Because at some point, when I was experiencing it, I didn't know, I felt like it's just me because nobody talks about it. I
Correct.
must be losing it. Something is happening.
Right.
The
I
jersey is shifting in me. I don't know what's
agree.
happening. But
Right.
so to have a manager be able to be like, Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And
Hmm.
really feel like they mean it, and it would just validate your thoughts, and you would want to work for that manager. You would be
Yeah.
like, I'm going to make sure I show up for you because
Right.
you're showing up for me.
Right.
And there are some places that are kind of already starting to like implement some things.
Yes,
So, Angela, do you want to
Yes.
talk a little bit about that? Because this is
Yeah.
exciting to me.
I know.
Yeah. There are some cutting edge employers out there who aren't waiting for the policy. Or aren't waiting for the mandates. So we have some great examples of some companies that are doing that, and we're going to share that in the series. Also, some states are ahead of the game. So Rhode Island, I don't know, I go back to elementary school when I, had to memorize all the states and all the capitals, and Rhode Island was always that tiny little state that was, you had to
Was always the
have a
hard
little
one.
bump out, right? But yeah, so Rhode Island is the first state in the United States to pass workplace menopause legislation. So we're watching what they're doing, and really they're setting the foundation for awareness and training. So, some states to watch out for also Massachusetts, New York, California, and New Jersey. Mare and I are based here in Pennsylvania, and we have some momentum. So, that is exciting. We we have some resolutions that are kind of moving through the House, and we're tracking that. So, you know, I always tell employers you don't need to wait for a law to
Hmm.
do the right thing, right? So you can set the standard now, and we'll share examples of companies and policies and even some free and low cost strategies that you can put into place to help your employees who are navigating this. So
And I think
come
it's
to this
just
series.
beautiful
It's
your
going to be
language.
jam packed. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's
Free
right.
and low
Absolutely.
cost.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so it's awesome, and the fact that also that there's like Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, California, like,
Yeah.
but the East Coast, because everybody always say, oh, the West Coast, they do things like quicker or whatever. But it's good to know that the East
We're
Coast, and
more progressive on the West. Yeah. Uh-huh.
right,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
right. So it's nice to, and since Jersey is in there, I will say that I've always thought that Jersey was the Mecca, but it's whatever. We're getting there. So it's perfect here in PA. I'm glad that things are just just starting, that they're in the makes.
Hmm.
So that is to me, that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm I would love to talk a little bit about what the actual learning series is for menopause, and just kind of you can give maybe a little brief overview so that women know, or HR leaders, I should say, know what
Right.
the series involves.
Yeah, so let's grab some of the details around that. So we're going to start on December 12th, so just in a couple of weeks here. And we're going to do this online. We are going to record the session. And if you have to miss, we're going to find a way for you to catch up on that. You don't have to attend all of the sessions, but we really encourage it because you're going to get a full look at, how we can create inclusive and supportive workplaces. So December 12th, we're going to talk about breaking the silence, why menopause belongs in workplace conversations. Then in January, so it's not like we're doing this every Friday. You can make time for this, I'm sure, and you can have your lunch while you're listening in. So I
Either
know
way,
how
we can
HR
judge.
people work. Yeah, right. So in January, then on that day, we're going to, so same time, same channel, January 9th, that's a Friday, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to dig into policy and practice and how we can support through the actions that we take as an organization through the policies themselves and the offerings that we have. We're going to take a look at what Rhode Island's doing. We're going to take a look at some great best practice examples of organizations who aren't waiting for the policy. Then on April 10th, so we'll take a little bit of a break for you to think about things and maybe apply some of these
Implement.
strategies. That's right. So on the third session, which is April 10th, again, 12 to 1 p.m. online via Zoom, we're going to really dig into how we can support our people leaders, our managers, our leaders. How do we train them on how to respond with empathy? And then the last session in May 8th, we're going to really go beyond compliance to competitive advantage. So if you want to be a best place to work, if you want to be a workplace that stands out, if you want to be a leader, how do we create that culture of inclusion so people feel that are, going through perimenopause or menopause, that they don't have to feel like they're suffering in silence?
Right.
What are the supports? Again, when workplaces ignore menopause, they're going to lose talent. It is
Yeah.
proven, right?
Yeah.
Mid-career, people at the pinnacle of their career are making these transitions and leaving on their own, or they're running into some performance challenges, which with some support or slight shifts, maybe they wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about engagement and turnover, I think you've got to take a look at what is happening to the women in your workplace. So that's what the series is about, and everyone is welcome. You don't have to be an HR professional.
Yeah.
We've positioned this to give HR credits. So if you're an HR professional that needs SHRM credits, you'll get them by attending. But business owners, anyone who wants to support this voice, women who are in menopause, who are in the workplace, who want to just hear strategies that they can take back to their workplace, come to the series and you'll hear all about it.
Yeah, I highly encourage you if you're a manager or even on that level of just any kind of admin, I highly encourage you to take this course. It's free. What do you have to lose?
Right.
This is just going to position you later to be a better manager and to like provide better support, because I can absolutely see women shifting to company or leaving companies that are not offering the support that they need and going to other companies. So you want to retain your employees, especially, if you have a really good key employee, you don't want to lose that just because
Absolutely.
you're not trained.
Right.
Right. And, is this a sales promotion? Is this going to promote all of what Menopalz does? Look, it is going to point you to solutions. Menopalz is one solution, but this is not a sales approach, right? This is a learning environment. We will point you to solutions, and we are so, the generous support that Menopalz is providing for us to do this. But we have state councils who are going to promote this for us because they know this is an important workplace issue. So this is not a sales call or sales learning series.
No.
Again, we'll point you to solutions, but we want you to learn and we want you to get strategies to take them back to your workplace so you can put them into play.
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
mission is genuinely to help women that are struggling through this phase.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like going to a timeshare meeting where you're like,
No.
okay, now I have to.
Okay,
We're not.
first of all, Mayor and I are in charge of the sales, so do you see
Right.
us? We're not salesy, right?
No, I
We're
am so
doing the
far.
12 days of workplace over here.
That,
We're not here
yeah,
to sell you.
that is perfect. That it is just for resources and
Yes,
just guidance.
education and resources.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's the most education. If the more you know, the more you'll be able to
Yeah.
help others.
We want to bridge the gap between workplace employers and workplace employees so that we have empathetic pathways that each can survive this transition and all get through this together.
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, I know I'm going because we'll all be there. But
We will be there.
yeah,
You'll get to meet our bright and shiny faces.
Yes.
yes. But I do think that this is definitely the right step to take to get it into the workplace and to have people start talking about it, because that's the most important thing to do. I mean, you can look on Instagram and you'll see funny things or whatever, but you look around you and still nobody's talking about it in the workplace.
Right.
So,
And it's funny on Instagram, but you go to work the next day and you're tired and you feel haggard and you can't remember what you're doing or how you got there. And you're like, that Instagram doesn't really matter. But, having some resources, some accountability partners, people to talk to, those are the things that help.
yes,
That's right.
I agree, yes, I mean, I think this is I think this is just so hopeful and so encouraging and empowering for our women that we have something out there that we know will help everyone in the long run.
Absolutely.
And I think
Yeah.
basically with Angela and the way that you explain things and you have this just way that you make everybody feel comfortable, and it's just, to me, that is the most important, because nobody feels like they can't approach you. You're very approachable, and you treat everybody with kindness and support. So that is who I would want to help us learn a series. So
Same.
Awesome. Thank you. That's such a nice compliment. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think, is there anything else besides, I mean, we could go into a chorus of, Santa's coming to town, but, we may save that for another one. We'll have to
You
figure
never
out,
know what we're going to dream up next.
you
Yeah.
know,
Aw.
because it's just now the beginning of almost December. So,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can think some things, who knows,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to say thank you, girls, so much. And I hope everybody out there will listen and join. And like we said, it's menopalz.com. Very easy. And,
Join the
we
party.
hope to see you
Yeah.
all there. Yeah.
All
So,
right.
thank you again.
Thank you.
And hope to see you there.
Thanks.
Thanks.